Hey there, the viewers of Cindrebay. We have come up with a new series called Let's Design. It's going to be a talk show. We are going to bring guests from the fashion industry to let you know their journeys and all about designing world. I am your host, Phullo Begum. My flagship talk show is Nari, which is on the mission of eliminating the cuss word from Abla to able. And today, on our first episode, we have Shailaja from Rimagined, who is on the mission of sustainable world. So, without much ado, let's welcome her. Welcome, Shailaja.
Thank
Hey,
you for having me on this show.
yeah, the pleasure is all ours. So, how are you, Shailaja?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, a
Yeah,
very interesting punchline you have, Abla to able. Really love that.
yeah. Thank you so much. So, why don't you introduce yourself for our viewers at Cinderbay?
Sure. Uh, I actually come from a business consulting background. Was a supply chain consultant for 15 years, and then got involved with voluntary work in the space of solid waste management here in Bangalore, which actually shifted my mindset towards consumption from being a regular consumer to being a conscious consumer personally, and then with the aim of making upcycling and conscious consumption mainstream, I launched Imagine 6 years ago. So changing the perspective of people towards waste and getting them to rethink their own consumption pattern. So that's where we are 6 years down the line.
Lovely, lovely. So why don't you tell us that how designing comes into this, and if you can elaborate what reimagined is.
Yes. So designing is what is core to the work we do, because when you talk of design, it's all about visualization, aesthetic appeal, right? So what we do is when you look at anything which is discarded, which is usually called waste, right? The image that people have is of landfills and garbage mounds on the roads and all. Now just change and then talk about really quality, classy, and wow looking products. Now that's what is the design, which is the core of the work we do. Wealth from waste. That's what it's all about.
Lovely, lovely to know that. So how is the response so far, Shailaja?
The initial few years was all about creating awareness, right? Because whatever said and done, when we talk about waste, it's not a very nice thought or a nice feel.
Mhm.
And then I tell you, this product is made from waste. People do have reservations about the quality, the hygiene element, and the aesthetics and all. So first is about creating awareness. Why should people even look at these kind of products? And most of the cases, when we don't say what material it is made out of, it's always like, oh, this is so cool. And then, you know what it is made out of? It is made from this. And then it becomes, wow, right? So the acceptance has been growing, and people are more and more opening to this idea of really trying out something different and making a difference, a positive impact at an individual level, right? Of course, it's still like the initial stages, but I think that is the future that we are working towards. So it has been quite positive, I would say.
Lovely. And how's the affordability factor? How affordable your products are?
Uh, we actually, like I would say, the reimagined products are premium products, not the luxury, but premium. The reason why I'm saying premium is we are not looking at any sweatshop based products, right? Where you have children working or even people working in very bad conditions, and you kind of try to squeeze the max out of it. So our products are priced competitively, I would say, but not in the luxury segment, but in the premium segment. And that is something we would want to be, because if we want more and more people to accept these products, pricing is going to be a game changer for us. So that way we ensure that we are in plus minus 10% range of the usual products that anyone would buy.
Yeah. So taking a lead from here, Shailaja, what is
Mhm.
the key difference between the mass-produced products and these upcycled products?
Uh, the USP I would say is No two products will be replicas, right? The design part of it will be the same. Say when I say it is a denim tote bag with a chevron pattern. Now all the 10 bags we make will have a chevron pattern and they will be from denim. But you will see subtle changes in the shades of blue that you see, right? They are not going to be replicas. And we make products from tire tubes. Every tube has its own pattern in the form of threads on it, right? So when we say this is an iPad sleeve created from tube, the design is exactly the same, but every piece will have its own character in terms of the pattern that you see on it. That's the beauty of upcycled products. When you talk of mass produced products, every piece is a mirror image of each other. So if you buy a tote bag, what you buy will be solely owned by you. Nowhere in this world will you have anybody carrying exactly the same piece. So that way we are truly exclusive, you can say.
That's wonderful, wonderful. All right. So, what are the most common remarks you hear from your customers? Tell us about that.
uh, it's like when we participate in the events, so we get two extremes, right? Oh, this is such a beautiful bag. Oh, from tire tube, and it goes down, right? It's put back because it's like, okay, I'm not too sure if I'm comfortable holding it. And
Yeah.
somebody is looking at it, and then you tell them it's made from tire tube. Really? And it goes up, right? So both we get both the reactions. But the best part is once a consumer has converted, right, to buying these products, they keep coming back for more. That's something which has been really, really encouraging.
Yeah.
So the response has been that way. That's the usual reaction that we see. Two ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. So as you're talking about the two ends of the spectrum, there are all types of people, Shailaja, and I want to know that a designer who's more from a business perspective, who want to really establish a brand and really make it big. So how do you see that? I can clearly see that you have a really, you're passionate about this project of Reimagined. But how do you, cope up in such a competitive and tough market? And what are the anecdotes or tips you want to give to people who are more business minded?
Uh, the business angle is a must for anything we do, right? Otherwise, you're not going to be sustainable. The concept, the idea of sustainability and all is good, but every venture should have a business angle, otherwise, you will not sustain.
Yeah.
So, anybody who wants to get into the space, right? One thing is we are swimming against the tide. So be prepared for the long haul. It's not going to be an immediate success, right? And the very crucial element of the work in upcycling space is going to be quality. Because one, you're trying to get somebody to buy a product which is created from material that has been discarded. So the first concern will always be about the longevity of the product. So there can be zero compromises with quality, absolutely none, right? And in terms of design also, uh, there should be no cutting corners, right? Unless and until the product has a wow element about it, why should anybody even look at it when there are like thousands of other mass produced products out there? So as a designer, the thought should be, how can the product stand out in a crowd, right? What is going to be my USP when I place this product next to any other mass produced product? Why will somebody look at my product, right? That is one more angle which the designer has to keep in mind. And the third thing is pricing, right? There have been so many times we have come up with a wow product, but we have scrapped the design. The reason being, when you're working with scrap material and trying to make a product, the effort that goes in the back end is huge. But what is the point in making a product which is wow, but you know it's not going to sell just because of that price tag, right? So need to be very, very practical as to where exactly you want to position your brand and what will it take for the designer and the product to be successful in that range. So that clarity of thought has to be there from the beginning.
Talking about designers, so how's the Indian standards are, how much our Indian designers look up to globally, and how liberal and free, Indian designers have that kind of freedom in terms of designing or, rating their skills. What is your opinion on that?
The beauty about design is that nobody sets a benchmark. There are no boxes that are standards that you need to say, okay, this is what you need to conform to. Your designs will stand out if they are good. Now, who is setting that benchmark? It is you and your own creativity that is doing the talking, right? So there will always be competition. Somebody who has maybe a different angle or approach to the design aesthetic, but there is always an audience for a certain type of product or certain design aesthetic. So you just need to identify your niche and focus on that, then rather than trying to cater to everybody. So the beauty about design field, be it India or be it international, is you speak your language, you set your standards, you create your audience. And that is something I have seen time and again. I don't come from a design background. So that has also been a blessing for me because I don't come with my blinders on. So when I see something, I see only possibilities. I don't see constraints. And that is the beauty of design world. So there's I wouldn't say there's any difference between the Indian designers or the international designers. Every designer is unique with his or her own skill. So they just need to set out to create their own audience.
Sorry, there is some, construction going on. Yeah. All right. So talking about, Indian standards, I would also like to touch upon, what are the standards of designing education per se in India? How do you scale that? Or do we really is there a need that there must be, more contemporary designing institute to be there, or, the conventional methods are fine with
Uh,
with the changing times, with the trending times?
well, I have worked with a lot of interns in this last few years, right? When we work on the designs or coming up with new ideas and all. What I see in terms of positive is the kind of ideas and the focus on sustainability that all these design grads have, which is a very, very big plus. The earlier generations maybe lacked that because there was not too much talk about sustainability earlier. But now sustainability is kind of becoming an inherent feature of design today, which is a very, very big plus. But I will add a but here. The Again, the flip side to that is when you talk of sustainable design, it's a huge umbrella, right? So the kind of technical and the practical challenges that come into this design is something the candidate will learn only when she gets exposed to the real industry, right? So the kind of projects or what they set out to do sometimes can kind of become impractical when it comes to maybe a business perspective. Is the product going to be sellable? Is it going to be competitive enough in the market? Now the costing, the market understanding is something which maybe the courses can also focus on with the already existing focus on sustainability. Then there's no stopping them. But I feel it is actually headed in the right direction now. So a lot of work can be done and it is already being done. So which is something very, very good, I would say.
All right. So talking about, interns and students, would you like to, give some tips to the students what they should be looking for, especially the designing students, and if they, by and large, generally, if they lack somewhere, so if you can give some wisdom from your experience.
Uh, as I said, right, the ideas that they come up with is wow, right? Uh, but again, the flip side is they lack the experience of, at least for the space that I work in, right, where we work with waste material and upcycling. Upcycling is not an industry as such yet. So trying to map their learning, what they have studied as students, to something to the work that we do in upcycling, right? It takes a lot of time. It's an iterative process. So it's not like I have a design, I go to the drawing board, put a sketch, and then source the material. No, it works the other way around. I have this heap of material lying in front of me. I need to start visualizing products from that. Is your mind geared for that? Rather than a forward approach, it's a completely reverse approach. This is the material that is available with me. Now, how do I design something wow from this? Right? At the same time, I know pattern making, I know creating textures and all that. How do I apply those theoretical concepts that are like in a controlled environment in my classroom to a reality where, okay, I never thought the material will act like this, right? So that's where the actual on the job learning starts for the students. So be open to that learning. So don't be disappointed when things really don't come out the way you have visualized, because upcycle design is going to be an iterative process. And it's a beautiful learning, I would say, for students if they choose to explore that path.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And so Shailaja, how, these last 2 years pandemic had affected your industry?
Like all industries, we also took a hit, and a bigger hit because when we try selling our products, right, people like the touch and feel of the product, because we are trying to change the perspective of people towards products that are created from waste, right? So what I have seen is people kind of get more confidence about buying these products once they see the product physically, right? And because of COVID, we lost that luxury. Uh, so we are kind of moving from an offline mode of sales to an online model. So selling is going to be much more challenging, but I think it has also kind of created uh, the need for sustainable consumption in many, many people. So it kind of opens up a bigger market for us to tap into. So we are looking forward to more people browsing for these kind of products, willing to try it out. Just give it a try, and then I know for sure they'll convert once they do it. So it again has its both plus and minus, but yeah, I think it's going to be good going ahead.
Lovely. I was about to, say that people have really understood the importance of, where the money should go and where not, and not splurge around on premium things without any rhyme and reason. And as you said, of course, sustainability is the answer for everyone in that aspect. Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much, Shailaja, for your lovely, sharings and your knowledge and your wisdom, your experiences. That was really nice. I hope that our students, our viewers are going to benefit from this talk. And in the end, one last thing, in terms of diversity, inclusion, equity, gender equality in designing world, what you would like to say?
Uh, well, I wouldn't say I'm too much for this because somehow, as a person, right, gender never comes into my head when I talk to people, or even when I talk to somebody as an entrepreneur, right? Uh, so I think it's the skill, the talent, your creativity that's going to really take you ahead. But the beauty is having, when I look at my team that is making these products, right, I see a huge difference in terms of what impact does financial enablement make for women, how the women in my team have thrived in the last 4 years, right? So it does make a difference to see how much impact can the work that you do have on someone beyond self. So I think when, as long as we're able to look somewhere beyond self, we are on the right path. As a designer, what is it that I'm creating that is going to touch the lives of how many people in what way? So everywhere, if you just insert that thought, right? What is it beyond me? It's job done. All the parameters that you're talking on the SDG model are being addressed.
Lovely. That is so, so thoughtful. So, Shailaja, thank you so much. And our viewers, do check out her page called Rimagined on Insta. And please look out for the beautiful products which she's creating, designing, and promoting as a noble cause of sustainable lifestyle. So thank you so much, Shailaja. It's
Thank you
truly
so
an
much.
honor for having you here, and see you
Pleasure
at the
talking
other
to you.
side.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you.